Okay, I wanted to take a few moments and go over meditation, do it with you, and describe some of the major pitfalls and things that we need to look out for. One of the first things that everyone asks when they begin meditating is, how long should I meditate for? Usually people say 15 minutes. This is completely inadequate. It takes 15 minutes just for your body to begin to surrender, just for the metabolic and physiological changes that need to occur in the body and in the brain. So if you're meditating for 15 minutes, basically you're getting to the point where the body is just starting to release and surrender, and then you're stopping. So you're basically training yourself never to fully be in that state. You want to avoid this error. 15, 20 minutes is the absolute minimum. And generally we want to strive for an hour or more. The longer you sit, the more you can internalize, the more you can begin to actually exist and attain the internal state, the mindfulness state that we're trying to achieve, the more habit it becomes. And that is the point of meditation. The point of meditation is that we become so used to it that it's uncomfortable to slip out of it. It's uncomfortable to hold tension in the body. It's uncomfortable when the mind is racing and all over the place. And so we're less prone to doing it. So we want to make sure that we're spending meaningful time in a meditative state, and that each day that is occurring, that we have a consistent practice. The other key component is that a lot of people spend their whole day reckless, mindless, tense. We're not going to mitigate the effects of being stressed 10, 12, 16 hours a day by sitting for 30 minutes at night. Yes, you will, at the end of that 30 minutes or hour, be de-stressed, but it's not going to undo the damage that you've done in your approach throughout the entire day. So the idea is, you don't just meditate and then pop out of it. You don't just vacillate between states. We are practicing this so that we can understand and directly experience what the correct approach is for everything that we do in every moment of every day. So it needs to stick with us. It needs to saturate into our being, into our fiber, and that be carried on as long as possible throughout the day. So any benefits that you experience of meditation, any emotional stability, groundedness, openness, lightness, playfulness, any of these things, stillness within the mind, just a capacity to be aware without the mind running rampant, these things hold on to. They need to be protected, guarded, they need to be nurtured throughout the day. This seems like a lot of work at first, and in fact it is. And it isn't easy changing your brain. It isn't easy changing the fundamental way in which you approach life. That is the great work. That is the work of our lives, so that we can not only be what we are, our unique individual self, but we can be functional in the world in the way that awareness, in the way that we are able to engage and harmonize with everything else. So, posturally, a few key components. I'm going to start with the head, and then I'll adjust the camera so you can see my lower back and hips. We want the crown of the head to be suspended. The crown of the head is not the center of the head. It's back as if the spine were to extend up through the brain. So what that is from the side, this point is subtly reaching up. So it's like a small plant, a seedling reaching for the sun. It's not a ramrod straightness. but there is a reaching. There should be a decompression, an elongation in the vertebrae here, and a slight tucking of the chin. This alignment between the crown of the head and the perineum, which is where you're sitting, kind of the spot between your anus and your sexual organs, we want those 2 points to be in alignment. So as the crown of the head is reaching, you can see my shoulders are completely dropped. They're completely released. Everything below this point that I'm reaching with has been surrendered. So that means everything, right? Your face, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, your chest. So when we do this, we drop our chest down. I'll emphasize, most people are breathing up high into their chest because they're holding their body in what we consider good posture, which is the chest out, the shoulders back, the stomach sucked in. This is horrible posture. We want our body, our spine to be elongated and straight so that there isn't muscular tension, so that we can drop. Observe my chest and upper body. My entire body can drop as one unit into my hips. You have hips. Your hips are a cradle so that they can bear and evenly distribute the weight of your upper body. This allows the chest and the heart and the lungs to release, to drop. It allows all your vital organs to surrender and release. You're not holding tension and flexing your abs. You're dropping and releasing this so that your intestines, your kidneys, your liver, your adrenals, everything has room to operate without compression. Most of us are slowly killing ourselves. This is why people who are very anxious have almost always some kind of gastrointestinal stomach issues, right? Our stomach, when we're tense, becomes upset. It's because there's so much constriction there. This is going to slowly kill you over the course of your life. These are all your vital organs, right? These are most of your vital organs anyway. We want them to be soft. We want them to be released. The other benefit of this is that when you release those organs, when you breathe, you can do something which is called abdominal breathing, which rather than breathing in your chest, you can breathe as if you were breathing from a spot 2 or 3 fingers below your belly button and just in front of your spine. And what that looks like, I'll try to see if I can emphasize it for you, is that only the stomach and the organs move. You see how my stomach extends, and then it's only in the last moments that my chest begins to fill. Now, when we're normally breathing in meditation, you don't need to inflate the upper lobes of your lungs. You can get plenty of oxygenation just by breathing abdominally. This pressure both allows your organs to expand and to be stimulated with each breath rather than being constricted. And it also highly oxygenates your body. So this is one of the techniques that depth hold divers use. They breathe, everything is completely relaxed, and when they breathe, there's an expansion. The expansion is down and it's out. So it's out all along this meridian of the body. You are breathing into your back. You are breathing into the front of your belly. You are breathing out to the sides, and you are breathing down. When we sit, take my shoes off. When we sit, there are 3 positions, and these are sort of in order of superiority. The first one is called a Burmese position. You pull one leg in so that the heel is touching your groin, and then you lock it in with the other leg. Your arms are released. Your hands are released. Everything is soft. It doesn't matter if you place your hands here or if you gently grasp or clasp them here. The second position is called half lotus. Keeping this one leg in, you take the other and you just gently place it so that the heel is up against the hip. Whenever you are doing any of these postures, it's crucial that you alternate. If I sit tonight in this position, tomorrow night I would alternate and I would sit in this position. The purpose of this, the necessity of this is there are planes of tension that are existing in your hips, and you can really cause a lot of discomfort and tension and imbalances if you constantly favor one side. So make sure that you switch your position. These positions are also stretches. They're not comfortable, especially in the beginning. Sitting in them is not going to destroy your knees. It's not going to destroy your hips. It's going to slowly open to allow you to be more comfortable in these positions over time. So the next position is called half lotus. So you start and you place one knee or one heel on top of the hip like this, and then you take the other one and just gently pull it up until they're both secure. An error that a lot of people make with this position is they get sloppy with the placement, and this foot is sort of dangling over and there's considerable pressure on the knee here. This position requires that you sit in half lotus for probably a year until you're comfortable. You can sit in this posture watching TV. You can sit in this posture just as a stretch. I'd advise you to look further on YouTube and you can find stretches that facilitate these kinds of postures. So when I'm sitting in this posture, my entire upper body is released into the cradle of my hips. My lower back, I'm not holding myself up. I'm releasing and dropping down so that my perineum and my tailbone are touching. Everything is released down. It's crucial that this lower area of our back is released, that it's not being it's not concave, and you can see the tension. You can see how I'm holding myself up when I hold my back in this position. When I drop it down, you can see how everything releases and softens. Now, there are things that you can do with your hands. These are called mudras. You've probably seen people holding different positions. If you are in full lotus position, it is completely fine just to hold your hands like this. Oftentimes in half lotus position or Burmese position, the preferable hand holding is like this. This is called the fire mudra. You can think of your body, it is electrochemical. And these positions, these postures, right, are sort of like mudras. They are ways of connecting circuits within the body. So just like we keep the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth throughout meditation, and we breathe through the nose, we also can hold a position like this. In this position with the legs, it's somewhat unnecessary. So you can see everything is soft and released. The crown of the head, is gently rising. My base is stable, so there's something for me to release into. I will sit for at least 30 minutes, and as we are sitting, right, your eyes are softly closed. It's fine if they open subtly. Your gaze is towards the tip of the nose, the space at the tip of the nose. There's nothing but darkness there. You're not visualizing anything. You're not imagining anything. You are simply looking at the darkness. The benefit of this is there is nothing to influence your mind. It is stable and consistent, and this allows us to work on the quality of our looking, on the nature of our being. So my body, I'm practicing acceptance, surrender, release, softening, dissolving. I am maintaining a present-mindedness at the tip of the nose. I'm not looking at my thoughts. I'm not looking at my emotions or inside my body. I am here. There are no thoughts there. There are no emotions there. There is simply space, the tip of the nose, and occasionally breath. The nature of my looking is loving, it's curious, it's interested, even though there's nothing occurring. Allow the body to settle. Allow the body to release, to melt. Allow the breath to normalize. We're not controlling the breath. If you don't touch it, it can't touch you. Just like sound, just like any other sensory experience you might have, it is simply an experience. It isn't you as awareness bearing witness. If the mind wanders, you don't have to chase it or even bring yourself back. You just arrive back at the tip of the nose. One of the most important parts of all of this is to not struggle. It's to not fight with yourself. It's simply to correct. Again, the tip of the nose is where all your awareness, all your senses are focused. The tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. Again, ensuring that you are being present. You are deepening acceptance. You are using the experience of meditation to practice being present, to practice being accepting, to practice looking with loving, curious interest. We do this so that we can properly relate to our senses, our emotions, and our thoughts. So that is a very brief introduction into some of the essential components of meditation and mindfulness. I want to emphasize, a lot of people play beautiful music and light candles and sit on really comfortable cushions and do everything they possibly can to not feel or to feel comfortable. This is not the point. These positions are uncomfortable. They were traditionally taught without any cushions, without anything, outdoors, in bug-infested regions where you could gain mastery over your senses. How are you going to gain mastery of your senses if they're controlling you? If you have to have everything perfect? When I first started meditating, I lived next door to a lady who had barking dogs that she didn't care for, and they would sit outside and bark for hours on end. And I had to learn to meditate through that. And this kind of adversity is what gives us some quality. It's how we test ourselves. When your legs are uncomfortable, how do you relate to that? How do you relate to pain and discomfort and distracting noises? We want to surrender. We want to accept. We want to carve out in our day at least a place for everything, unless your house is on fire, right? Everything is released. And you see that how little the illusion of control is necessary. So don't run away from discomfort. Don't run away and make perfect conditions for your meditation. Make them reasonable. Make it tolerable. Work with yourself. Wherever you're at, if there's something that really triggers you or upsets you, something, maybe it's pain, maybe you're a very sensitive, weak person, or maybe you're someone who becomes really irritable when you hear a dog barking. Whatever it is, use it as practice, because this is the only way that we gain real lasting skill. And that way, it's not just that you're peaceful when you're meditating. You can be peaceful even in great adversity and great challenge. So thank you. And if you have any questions or there any further interest in this, I'll be happy to make more videos around the idea of meditation.